Hereafter, I'm going to explain Apple earnings, the activity ahead of earnings, and the activity after earnings. And I'm going to explain how we planned all this and the reason why Apple, after earnings report, has been selling in extraordinarily high volume against the projections of everyone else. In the first place, ahead of earnings announcement, I created a video. I uploaded the video to YouTube, Vimeo, for everyone to be aware that Apple was going to beat and to announce one of the best quarters in history. I disclosed that information because I already knew about it, and so I informed everyone that I had several long positions, large long positions in Apple ahead of earnings announcement. And I said to subscribers that the range to expect after earnings announcement to be $133 to $137 at most. And I already knew that Wall Street analysts, they were going to upgrade Apple after earnings report to $150, $160. So on the day that Apple reported earnings, Wall Street, next morning, you saw more than 15 Wall Street upgrades precisely to the range $145 to $198. So what we did, it was, according to the information that you find here, the price range I would consider to be normal to see on Apple would be $133, $137 after earnings. This post, it was made available to subscribers on Saturday. The company reported earnings on Monday. And here you were, on Friday, you have here the information about my positions in Apple, according in fact to what you have available on the blog. When I upgraded Apple at $122, it was a call that I made available on the blog live. If you had the intention to read the blog, you could have purchased Apple at that price and remained long the stock all the way up to precisely 136. Why 136? Well, as soon as Apple reported earnings, the next day, on Monday, when pre-market opened, I already knew that everyone was going to expect a kind of Amazon or Netflix kind of action. Well, but the plan was precisely the opposite. While everyone was not aware that Amazon or Netflix, they were going to gap considerable to the upside, and therefore very few retail investors, they had very large long positions in Netflix or Amazon. Most of them, they had long positions in Apple, expecting that the stock the next day or the following weeks probably will be trading around $150, because most of them, they have the reasoning of the crowd. Everyone has the same kind of reasoning. So if you want to make money in the stock market, you have to understand the game, how it is played. And the game, how it is played, I've been announcing here for years that the person that controls Apple trading, and there are several videos available on YouTube in the past years demonstrating precisely that fact, that the person that knows precisely how Apple is going to trade, it is my person, because I have been making all the calls, the tops and the bottoms in Apple in the past years since I started trading. So I'm the person who called Apple crash a few years ago, all the way down to 386, and I'm the person who called the bottom in Apple, investing in Apple, how to make $100 million in stock market, investing when the Wall Street analysts, they were downgrading Apple at $400. Thereafter, you remember that you had the stock split, you had new historical highs, and today you have Wall Street analysts saying that Apple is going to $200. And I was also sure that Mr. Carl Icahn was going to write again a letter saying that the action in Apple, it is not normal, it is absurd, and it is irrational. Well, personally, I don't have anything against Mr. Carl Icahn. What I consider absurd it was, as I explained on the video, in the morning ahead of earnings, that Apple was going to, the analysts, they were downgrading ahead of earnings and upgrading after earnings announcement. That is absurd. And so, I don't have a strong sell rating in Apple, but I explained here what was my plan. You see that I was 100% certain about Apple shares. In the morning when the company announced earnings, I was selling shares at 136. If you remember the action, I can tell you precisely the stock was trading 1 hour before it was trading around $135.20. It went up all the way up to $136.15 more or less, and I started selling shares precisely at that point once it got to 136. Why? Because the maximum that Apple could see, as I announced on Saturday, it will be 137. So you see here that I had a very clear plan, and today you have Apple shares at this price. After hours, $127.92. This is how money it is made in stock market. Money it is not made in stock market having the same reasoning as the crowd, or following Mr. Carl Icahn, who does not control Apple shares. He does not have any clue or analyst what Apple stock is going to do. So if he does not have any clue what Apple stock is going to do, probably it is better to invest or to trade Apple according to the guidance that I've been giving here, and in as many circumstances informing when to buy or to invest in Apple and when to sell Apple shares. Because if you want to make money, my friends, one thing you can be certain, and if I could crash Voltaire shares corporation 70% within 1 week, we can do whatever we want in the stock market, as the Paramount trading algorithm demonstrates.